Oh, what a week. Nothing happened.
Yeah, nothing. There's
Nothing at all.
absolutely nothing going on. Nothing we can talk about. I don't know what we're. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Saw a great article in the Independent last week when we're discussing Chinoy. That been. We said very specifically on the show that wasn't that she's a woman. I ain't got any problems with her being a woman or a woman directing or any of that nonsense. It's that argument is so pathetic. It's beyond comparison. But there again, black people were invented in 2016, according to those people. So
apparently,
that's the kind of levels of shit that we're dealing with. And we say it's just not the right person for the job in any capacity. A documentary maker, no experience whatsoever in filmmaking, never mind big budget filmmaking, never mind Star Wars. Anyway, the Independent put out this article and they knew we were right.
Mm-hmm.
And they couldn't disagree with what we said because it was correct. So they put out this article saying Chinoy is not experienced enough for this new Star Wars film. But that's not what men are saying on the internet. They even had to lie.
Unbelievable.
Kel Surprise.
Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. Let's add that in. Of course, they knew we were correct. I mean, we talked about this extensively on Ribbon and Silverback and just general conversation. That was the point that was made the entire time. So again, it's just a textbook gaslighting, and it does. We'll talk about boring. That's what it is. That perfectly describes it. And that it's so predictable, is it not? It's like these people hear what it is that they want to hear, right? And anything contrary to that, even if it's presented, you can put it right in their face. It's like, yeah, that never happened. I'm like, what the fuck? That's the point that we've been making. They know we were correct in that this person is not. They're not grabbing the best people for the job. They never. That is not the forte. That's not the approach with filmmaking right now. Hell, comic books, really anything in entertainment, where they are selecting the best people available with the endless pool of money it is that they have. So that's not an issue. So any sort of financial problems that generally smaller companies are going to have to deal with when grabbing the best talent, when you make that or have that access to that amount of money, even if you're losing it, you get what it is I'm saying, it's debt, whatever, you have access to it, and you don't go get the best people for the job, then we have to believe that you're doing it on purpose or going out of your way to select folks that are not equipped. Shout out Yellow Flash in the chat, see that are not equipped for the gig. So we did the research, right? You did a lot of the research, right? Initially when we were talking about on Ribbon and Silverback. And we're like, who the fuck is this Charmine chick? Who is she? So we go look it up, and we come to find that there's nothing on her in her catalog, if that's what you want to call it, that screams Star Wars. Like not one thing. There's not one thing that's there where you could say this person screams that's right. They should be directing Star Wars. And even if you said, okay, maybe not in their filmmaking, I mean, I'm not finding anything. And this is why I said the greatest comparison that I can give with regard to like entertainment, pulling people, mainstream entertainment, pulling people from other things, right? Hand selecting, like Mags, right? People that are for these positions is Ta-Nehisi Coates, because it's the same thing. There's no evidence. It's not just that you haven't done it. It's also that there's no evidence that you were even a fan of it. Like there's no, if I'd be willing to accept if there was something that Charmine was like, yeah, she's really active in a Star Wars blog and just like, she knows her shit, man. Like, okay, I'd accept that. But none of it exists. There's nothing there. There's nothing there that screams this person should be directing a Star Wars film, especially during a time period where, I mean, would you go as far as to say it's make or break for them? I know they kind of threw a Hail Mary before last week with this whole Mandalorian and what's that little shit's Grogu thing that they're doing a movie. movie on, like a Hail Mary. But would you say it's make or break? Because what the fuck else do they have? Nothing's working right now, like nothing.
I think it's already broke.
Well, there you go.
I don't think it's make or break. They've just announced that Ahsoka season 2 is in the works. Ahsoka, the TV show that did worse than Andor, that nobody watched. Then you had the disaster that was The Mandalorian season 3. Lost a shit ton of it. 40% of its viewership, 40% of its viewership for season 2. It's lost its sparkle because it's just a disaster show now. Like everything that Disney does. Without repeating myself, but I've got to repeat myself. We've already said that their first film back when Star Wars arrives at the cinema is the character that killed Star Wars, being directed by a woman who does documentaries, greenlit by the woman who killed Star Wars.
Put it perfectly.
It's done. That film is not going to do well. 400, 500, maybe, don't know. Maybe even lucky to do that. But it's going to be sub $1 billion for sure. And the marketing,
and they're going to spend. They're going to spend up with a 200 million. Like you already know,
300,
yeah,
250, 300.
So you already know they're going to have to. You're talking 800, 700 to 800 just to say that maybe we broke even.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It will give or take. Long story short, it has to be $1 billion film for it to be successful. With their spending rates, it absolutely has to be $1 billion film. There's no anything under that is a failure.
Well, even the rise of Scope Poker, with all of its reshoots, the disasters, that film was out of control on its budget.
Right.
And it did 1.1 billion at the cinema. The likelihood is it might have just broken even.
Mm-hmm.
It might have. Sorry, that is incorrect. It might have worked out a little profit, and by a little profit, maybe 50 to 100 million.
Okay,
maybe, but it might not have. It might have actually just broken even because of the colossal disaster that budget, marketing, the whole thing went out of control. Budgets are out of control in films in general. Period.
Alpha Core #1's pre-order is live. Written by the legendary Chuck Dixon and penciled by Joe Bennett. Visit Rippaverse.com to grab a copy and any of the merchandise items. Be sure to also check out the animated trailer for the campaign, which is the latest project from Rippaverse Studios. Y'all be easy.